So we're going all-wheel drive and hype game. Used to be a Frilled-Neck Lizard, get up on the back tire, and then we're going to that. Oh yeah!
Holy!
Oh.
This is the part we call trusting the process.
Sure.
Project off.
Call Jamie. Got to ring Jamie. Jamie! We've alluded to the fact that something big was going to happen to this car like ages ago.
Yes,
like
correct.
in many videos ago, we've been like, stay tuned for 2025, something's going anyway.
It is 2025.
It's 2025. Jamie's pulled the trigger, which is super exciting. Without telling you.
They already know from thumbnail title.
Oh, it's true.
That's the problem.
But anyway, we can still do it. It's still fun. So if you have a look here, right, if you have a look at this side of the car, this is
Jamie's car.
big tyre on the back,
Yep.
little skinny front runner on the front, you know.
Guards rubbing.
No, it's, you know, sleek, sporty. And then you come over to this side of the car, and this is like slightly less chunky in the back because we just put a matching set on this side, but this is like gorilla chunky front end rear, you know.
Now we're cooking.
Now we're cooking. It used to be a Frilled-Neck Lizard, get up on the back tyres. Now it's a goanna, it's four-wheel drive.
What's the fuck?
That's what I'm trying to think of.
Komodo Dragon.
That's what I just fucking said.
No, you said
Iguana, didn't I? Oh, goanna.
Komodo Dragon, yeah.
What's the difference between that and a goanna?
Komodo Dragon.
Don't goannas climb trees and take birds? There he is, look. Up on his back legs.
Oh, he's right, no.
Wa-na-na-na-na.
For that.
And then we're going to that.
No, but we need
Show me a video of that running though. I hope it's fast.
Bang, that's real salt.
Look at it.
Well, hopefully it's faster than this, but
Is that it? Surely it turns and just, here we go. Oh yeah.
holy!
Oh.
Yeah, see how
He just gets and goes.
gets up and goes.
Look,
Yeah,
he's sandbagging now.
I'll just chase it.
like-
I'm good.
He's playing the long game
Oh,
now.
who's old mate filming this? But I wouldn't be getting in there.
Fuck, I'll be gone.
He's still
He's playing the long game. He's playing the long game, you know. He's going all night. He's not trying to go out in the first pass.
He hit hard.
He hit hard, all-wheel drive. Just front legging. Anyway, that's the analogy. So we're going from two-wheel drive, basically, if you haven't picked up on it already, we're going all-wheel drive in Jamie's car. We're going two-leg to four-leg. So we're going all-wheel drive and hype game. There's also, on top of the all-wheel drive, there's some also super other exciting stuff happening with the engine and obviously the gearbox combo in this because it's going to be all-wheel drive. So we'll get into that later, but for now, we're going all-wheel drive. So the general gist of what we're going to do is we're basically putting R32 front suspension under the front of this. There's a couple ways you can do it. The way that we are going to, obviously we've never done this before. There are a couple people who have done it. The people who have done it really well like to keep it a bit of a secret. The people who have done it just kind of done it. They're a little bit less secretive, but it's still a very like grey area. Nobody really wants to tell you exactly what they did. So
Sam's going to give you the step-by-step.
well, I'm going to give you what I did, and if it works at the end, you can do it. But pretty much what I'm going to do is graft. I say graft like it's hard or exciting. Put an R32 front crossmember underneath, the rail width between S13 and R32, R33, all that sort of stuff. The rail widths are all the same, so they're all like 745, I think, bolt hole centers, which is the reason that you can put,
Yeah, that's like 750.
yeah, I think it's 745, which is the reason that you can put RBs into S chassis that came with SRs so easily. You can get an R32 RB20 crossmember, bolt it into your S chassis, and now you have an RB that will bolt in. So obviously, expanding on that, it's a little bit more work. Obviously the crossmember won't just bolt in. We're going to have to re-drill holes, weld in crush tubes, notch the chassis, fish plate it all, strengthen it so that it's all hunky-dory and safe and we can get it engineered and everything like that. But it's not bolt in, but it's fabricate in, hopefully.
Number plate ideas.
Number plate ideas. GT-R.
No, Hop Game.
It's keeping hype game.
From hype game.
I don't know.
I don't like the plate, Jamie. It's shit. I think it's queer.
I think it's
He's got shirts.
What about all? Yeah, he does have shirts now, doesn't he? That was when he was a Frilled-Neck Lizard.
Oh yes, right.
Komodo.
Komodo.
That's pretty cool.
That would be pretty.
Komodo.
Doesn't it look
It does. Because it sounds Japanese too.
And it also, he's kind of
And it's all drive.
Godzilla, but not.
He's kind of like Godzilla.
Like Godzilla, but not.
It's like the mini Godzilla.
Yeah. Komodo.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Working out.
Well, he's like a little Godzilla.
That's what he said.
I was copying you. Anyway, so what we're going to do, basically I'm going to get the car up on the hoist. I'm going to, I don't know what I'm going to do first. I think pretty much drop everything out to start with and then basically just sit that in. I probably will plumb bob the center line of this current wheelbase first because I need to be able to find the center of that. So basically I want to make sure I get the center of the guards as a fixed point before I pull it all out because then I won't have anything to line up against. But moral of the story, drop all the two-wheel drive stuff out, give us some room to work, get that cross member in and just sort of mocked up, which will then allow us to sort of swing the lower control arms, the axles, see what we've got to do, see how it sort of all lines up with the S13 gear, and then there'll be some conversion parts to make it to suit the McPherson strut is what we're planning on doing.
Yeah.
GTRs have like an upper A arm, so they run an A arm. Yeah, the A arm goes onto the J arm, which connects to the knuckle and then onto the lower control arm. The way that S13s work, they have a McPherson strut or a McPherson strut, depending on how you want to pronounce it. So these have like double ball joints here. So there's a ball joint here and a ball joint here, and just the knuckle spins. That's how you turn. It's purely on those two ball joints, whereas on an S13, the entire McPherson strut is how you turn. So it's got a bearing on the top of the coilover, and it's got a lower ball joint, and your whole, what?
Are you saying McPherson?
McPherson. Both.
He said both.
It's both.
He said both.
Depends who you ask.
Take it how you want.
How do you say it?
It's McPherson.
I say McPherson too, but everybody else that I've ever heard it says
Everybody
McPherson.
else is wrong.
All right, fair enough. We'll go with McPherson then. That's how I've always said it, but I've definitely heard people say McPherson. Anyway, McPherson strut. They've got a bearing at the top and a ball joint on the bottom, and so the whole strut turns rather than just the knuckle. So what we're planning on doing is adapting the R32 knuckle, which is this one. So if this is an R32 knuckle, the J arm would attach here. It goes up like that, and then it connects to the upper A arm, which we just showed you. What we're planning on doing is adapting basically this top portion of the knuckle to the McPherson strut. So how exactly that looks right now, we're not entirely sure. I've got some ideas. It should be pretty simple in the grand scheme of things, but that's the general gist. It's fucking filthy. So first things first, I'm gonna get it on the hoist. I'm going to get my wheelbase marked out on the floor. Pretty much once this goes up on the hoist, I don't want it to move until I've either A, got the all drive in it, or B, got some very, very good reference points to go off of, because that's not going to bolt into the same part on the rail as the existing cross member. It's basically going to end up like either a little bit further forward or a little bit further back to get the center line of the wheel in the center of the guard. I think, anyway, that's my concern. So I want to make sure that I don't just whip everything out and then have nothing to go off of. So we'll put it up on the hoist.
Might be the most precise marking you've ever done.
I'm sure it could be. I said that's good enough for what we're going for, and then said Justin will fix it. That's why they make adjustable arms, boys. Jamie's going to see his invoice. Stick tape to floor.
Plum Bob.
Plum Bob. Who the fuck is Bob? Basically, in a perfect world, what I will achieve by the time I have taken all of this out, put that in, put all the arms and everything in, is I will have the same center line through my hub to here. If I don't have that, I've fucked up somewhere. I'm going to tear out the suspension now, so I'm going to take the coilovers, knuckles, lower control arms, take that all out so that I can get to the, I want to put a mark from the center line of the mounts here. So these 2 points, I want a center line mark on the ground from that, and then I will have a reference point from that to the center line of the wheel, because then I'll be able to see if where that is relative to this, basically. But none of those line up, so all I really need to know, basically I need to figure out where this cross member has to sit in relation to this car. So this gives me the center line of the wheel. So I basically need to figure out where the center line of the wheel is in relation to this cross member. So probably what I'll have to do is bolt the lower control arms and the knuckles on, which will give me, then I can find out where the center line of the axle is, of the front axles, which it's going to be somewhere here, because this is the cutout for the drive shafts, for the front shafts. So the center line of the wheel is going to be somewhere here, and then basically line that up with those marks, and then put the cross member up, mark it, drill holes, weld in cross tubes, notch the chassis.
You sound confident.
Have
I like confidence.
you seen my Morris?
great.
Have you seen my Morris? Basically I can just bolt the lower control arm onto the subframe, and then I can put the caster arm on, because the caster arm brackets on a GT-R are part of the subframe. So I can put the caster arm on, which will then hold the lower control arm in place where it should be. And then the only thing I have to get right from there, well, then I just need to figure out if that center of that ball joint is the center line is the center line of the wheel, which it looks like it damn near is. So I think probably what I'll do is jack this up, take this wheel off, plumb bob this, and then plumb bob the ball joint and see if those 2 points line up. If those 2 points line up, that means that I can just bolt the control arm onto the subframe, bolt the caster arm on, then that will give me my center line of the cross member. Then I just have to match that to the center line of the car.
So you're trying to tell...
Center line's probably not the right word, but you know what I mean.
Are you trying to tell me that step number 1 of making your S13...
Buy an R32 GT-R. So, people of the internet, what that tells us is basically you can see that those 2 points don't line up, which means the center line of our wheel is not quite the center line of the lower control arm, but that gives me the offset. So it basically is. Basically, I mean, I'll just draw 2 lines now between these two, measure that difference, which looks like it's probably going to be like 10 mil, 15, probably 10 mil, 12 mil. Difference is center to center 15 mil. Center to center 15 mil of my massive line, but pretty much what that means is we come over here, and once I've got the lower control arm and the caster arm brackets bolted up to that, the caster arms bolted up to that, we want the lower ball joint bolt to be 15 mil in front of that.
Makes sense.
That's it. Now I know where that has to go. It's all in theory that this fits.
It fits.
It's all, it should. Ah, creamy.
We're in.
Fucking damn near where it is. It probably should.
Yeah, mate, all it.
What's our little check-in? How are we feeling? Progress report.
Progress report at the moment. There is a slight variation in heights between the front and rear pickup points by the looks of that.
Mm-hmm.
You can see how there's air through
Yep.
or daylight.
Yep.
There's 2 ways you can do it. You can bring this up, which is less likely, or we can drop this down. So I'd say if we put like a 10 mil spacer under that, that would even that out. So I'd say that's probably the rise difference between. The only other thing that we have to worry about at the moment is ideally we need to get back, probably looks like we need to go back like 20 mil, roughly, which is going to put us very close to where this curve starts to start. But we should be alright because that's the original mounting hole. So it looks nearly like that hole line up with that hole, which is an original mount.
Cool.
Should put us very close, and if it does, that's fucking unreal because that gives us a really good starting point to go from. If that's the case, that'd be awesome. My amendment is that's not the factory crossmember hole, but it is a factory hole, and it looks like it's going to be very close to how far back we need to come. The factory holes are here. But actually, now, the more that I look, it looks like this front hole on this crossmember might line up with the back hole on the old crossmember. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Waiting to hear back from the engineer who originally engineered this car for Jamie in Sydney. We've sent him some rough sort of sketches of what we're intending on doing, and we're going to see what his thoughts on that are, whether he's happy with that or if he wants something else, he wants more, less, whatever it is. So we'll see what he comes back with from that, and then we'll go from there. But for now, I'm going to get this clamped down to the table, and then we'll probably put a dummy block in here, I think, so that it's all sitting, and then lower the car down on it, sit the bonnet on, see how much space we've got. I can drill these holes through, and I'll just drill them at 12mm, which is the bolt diameter. And then when we're ready to put the crush tubes in, I can just make those holes bigger. So I could basically bolt this up and just like snug the bolts up. Obviously don't just ram them because it'll crush the chassis, but I could essentially bolt it up for mock-up purposes.
What'd you do? Oh no. How'd that happen?
Guess where it is.
You're going fishing, boy. Justin.
Are these fronts been? Oh, the fronts haven't been capped, it's alright.
Oh yeah, dog. It's the most I've caught fishing in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Swarfs included.
Hey, don't do it again.
I probably will.
You silly boy.
That's a 12mm bolt in a 12mm hole, so it's like,
Toit.
it's exactly, there's like,
There's no room
so
for activities.
if I was to put that through the factory hole,
So much
for
room
reference,
for activities. Yep. Yep.
like that's a good,
Yep.
there's probably a good fucking millimeter, so that's probably like a 13mm hole. So I'll probably end up doing like a 12.5mm crush tubes. I mean, that's fucking pretty banging though, to be honest. But yeah, that's sweet. They will go through, so I'm happy with that.
We are.
I'm gonna, yeah, bolt the crossmember up
Let's do it.
for the first test bolt up. All right, all drive. Let's go.
Send it.
Get the engine in. Movie this morning.
Oh, movie idea.
Yeah, you can't put it on. You can't put it on easy.
Why not?
So I had the idea of it's like a superhero, right?
But wait.
And everybody else is eating the thing that makes them like really good, but like this, but it's bad for you because it's like. What I was thinking was it's like a 50-50 chance you die or you get a superpower, right?
This is a long
Pretty good,
elevator pitch.
right?
Yeah, that's a long movie.
It's like at least an hour. Like a 50-50 chance you take it, you die, or you take it, you get a superpower.
Yeah.
But the people who made it don't tell you that. Superhero of the movie, right, is fighting everybody, right? And they've all taken it, so he's like just a normal guy, but then he gets into a situation where he can't fight his way out of it, and he has to take the pill to win.
He takes a pill. What pill?
He takes it.
What's the pill?
And he dies.
Wow.
It's the magic pill that gives you a superpower or kills you.
I thought it was fruit.
Well, it was a pill or fruit, I don't know yet.
I think it's The Matrix.
Yeah,
I've seen that movie.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
take the blue pill, you wake up. Take the blue pill, you die. Take the red pill, you get a superpower. This is actually a perfect first draft. And I will not be doing it again. I will be. I'll be making a second one.
That's good. Second draft is always good.
It's not a second draft though, it's just another one of the first draft.
It's the second movie.
Oh, you're talking about my movie?
Yeah.
Right, I thought you were talking about this.
No.
Sorry. Right. Yeah, probably. That's fair then.
You thought I was...
I thought you were talking about this. I was like, jeez, rough. Oh no.
Did we not make it through, Captain?
We didn't, Captain. Machinist.
It's like there's a hole in the middle. It's like you could have it line up
You
with
reckon?
that.
Do you think so?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'll give that a go.
I-
We'll see if that works.
Maybe not.
Probably where all that shit on the end of it's coming from.
Oh, that's not straight.
What will we? Yeah, that works way better.
Wow, that's... Oh,
Alright, chill out. Get off. Just like everybody know that I could have done this with a cordless drill, alright? So if you're thinking, geez, that's dodgy, could have been way worse. Oh, this is actually
I don't think it's dodgy.
the extremely proper way to do it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, when the vice lifted up the drill bit, that was a little bit... That doesn't even have to go in the video.
Exactly.
So just
Why would it?
Be good if I had a mill. And it'd be good if I knew how to use a mill.
Do we know anyone with a mill?
Graham has a mill.
Is Graham around?
Graham's not here.
Oh, Graham.
Come on, Graham.
We needed you, Graham.
What the hell?
In our hour of need, you weren't here.
In our hour of need, you were not here.
Stewie's gonna get excited though.
He's just going to say,
Oh.
Chiopa.
Alright, copy.
Don't touch it.
He would touch it, wouldn't he?
Literally said, don't touch it.
And then I touched it.
And then he touched it.
Sandblasted these.
Yeah, I did.
That was good.
How could you
I
tell?
wanted it to look nice. Dylan turned down my music. Turned off my Nickelback.
It's always Nickelback.
It's always Nickelback. Yeah, it should just go straight in.
Yeah. I like us.
If it doesn't, I don't know. If it doesn't go straight in, Jamie's not getting all drive.
What do you reckon, Stu? Is it going to work?
Of course it'll work. Over there, you suck on the engine crane. You suck on the engine crane.
I'm really good on the crane.
Big crane guy.
You're already doing it wrong.
But
Fucking chill, brother. Christ. I'm really good on the crane.
I don't know which way I got to top this up. Just slow it down this way. Let's do it.
Clockwise.
Yeah, so I'm good on the. I'm really
I'm good on the crane. Which way is it to stop it? It used to be an RB2630. Now it's the engine that will be going in it is a 26 deck height, which means it's the overall height from sump to covers will be 38mm lower. So it'll sit a little bit lower in the engine bay than it used to, but it's also a different crossmember, so it could sit very similar, being that it's got different crossmember, different engine mounts.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
What's wrong, Sam?
Here you go. Nah, Sam, you never get that through there.
You don't know me.
Yeah, nice.
Nah, not a chance.
I might.
That thing's there, Sam.
Yeah, I might get it. Give me a go. Give me a go, coach.
Should I get some food if you want?
Sure, go get some food for him.
But he also wants to see this, so he's like,
You can't get the backside through, can you?
Not a chance. Oh, look at this. No, look at this. Yeah, do it.
easy.
So all you got to do is have the rack out, and we can get the axle in.
Have the steering rack out with everything.
Have the steering rack out and everything else also out.
Does this actually mean we don't need to notch it?
No, we do. Oh, we do. Okay.
We still do, yeah.
It's definitely
Not much though, really, because
like that.
fuck,
10 or 15 mil up, you
Is there
said.
grease? Yeah, grease.
that's slippery.
That could be.
Careful.
Andy, just stand there.
No, what's around there? That's it.
We don't actually have to notch it from the perspective of clearance. We just have to notch it to be able to get the axle in and out.
Yeah.
Which, like, that's fucking, you're never hitting that.
They might, that one might.
Fucking that much.
You reckon?
Maybe if your
Maybe put it
fronts
in
lock,
and
maybe
see
if you
what it
lock
fits
the
in.
fronts up. Yeah, I will. That's next.
Pretty cool, that. Well done, Kenny.
Yeah, dog. 90.
What's next?
It's 90% complete. What's next? Probably going to throw up his old gearbox, just the two-wheel drive Turbo 400. Going to put it up there and just see if the gearbox crossmember is close to lining up, and that'll give us an idea of where the engine's sitting in relation to where it used to sit. Because obviously that gearbox used to bolt up, so now we'll throw that up, see how where the holes are relative to where they should be. I'd say they're going to be very close. I don't think it will bolt up, but it'll be very, very close. And then after that, probably going to start working on the adapter from the knuckles to the McPherson strut. Start measuring that up and getting that sort of figured out so that we can get the machinist to get started on that, because it'll probably be a couple of days before we can actually get them finished. So I think we'll get that figured out next. Okay, that's slightly pull that in. Like just take it off. Yeah.
On the floor,
Just reshape it basically from where it's touching, take a bit off. Yeah. So then it should touch where it's not touching.
And then make a 10 mil.
And then put a 10 mil blade in that.
I think that's, for me, that's it.
So
I'm
just
happy with that.
modify your back ones a little bit,
Yeah.
and then leave a 10 mil space for the
Put a 10
front.
in the front. Just gives us that bit of box clearance.
Which, yeah.
And then we've got that section.
Yeah, and then once you cut the floor out of there, you'll be able to come up more if you... Oh, well, you can't.
Well, the box is hidden here in the tunnel too.
It's also
Oh, it's not cool.
touching on the drop box.
So GTRs don't have drop boxes, so if we're going to lift Jamie's up a little smidge, that'd be it.
Yeah, but yeah.
But what?
I was saying it's not a GTR, but if you mod the floor, it's gonna mod the seat rails too. So you'll have to do like an R chassis probably rail on that side.
Yeah, that's right.
Potentially. Unless you cut the
We'll
whole
have to
floor,
look at- yeah.
unless you take the whole floor out and replace the whole fucking thing.
I think that's like...
But your chassis rails are probably going to be wider too. It's going to be, it's fuck.
No, we're not touching the chassis rail.
I'm not trying to put that floor in.
No,
He's going to take
we're
the
taking
cut
the
Try
back.
and use the hump.
I'm
Yeah.
taking this section.
No shit.
That's all I want.
Yeah, but your seat mounts are in that.
Yeah, but that's fine, we can make that work.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I've thought about all that, yes. That's the
And
only
then from the front here, the tunnel on James is different to this tunnel as well.
we've got up
Because he won't have...
but
you
wherever
have to-
Jamie's seam is, that's where we go to. And we'll just have to make that like a custom
No,
scope.
I'm just telling you what you're going to fucking do. I don't give a fuck what you do.
Tell us what you do.
Do you know what we've
Oh,
got
you
to
have
do?
to change the seat. Oh, no.
No idea.
Okay.
Cut out the tunnel, mate.
Oh, let's go sit over in this. Fuck all then.
We got to change
Fuck
the
my
seats,
opinion.
boys. Get projects off. It needs new seat rails. Call Jamie. Somebody ring Jamie. Tell him he needs new seat rails. What we need to decide on is how I want to adapt the coiler. We've just wound the shock body through and it's plenty of clearance to the boot, so once we start setting ride heights and stuff, we might find that we actually have to adjust the spring height to get the ride height that we want, which means our spring tension will be wrong for what we want. But
Yeah.
for now, the concept is fine. It's pretty much just have to decide how I want to adapt this, but out. So pretty much that is that.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is get our machinist to make this taper for us with a threaded insert, most likely, because I don't think I want to weld it. So I'm probably going to get him to put the thread and everything on it, that whole piece. And then this is the top side where we'll change the whole sitch.
What you doing?
Modification station. Be just on the edge of that, and that one should be just on the edge of that,
Precise measurements here.
which means that should be like that.
I don't think that's quite right.
Well, the good thing is that it doesn't need to be quite right, because it's called fuck you. That's going to go in there, that's going to go there, that's going to get a hole probably right there, which we're going to have to cut that. But
How
that's
expensive are these coilovers?
I didn't pay for them. Ask Jamie. This is the part we call trusting the process. You watch, when it's done, you won't even know. You'll be like, whoa. Hot.
all I'm trying to work out now is where I'm going to re-drill the top hole. I think probably what I'm going to do is basically flatten. Yeah, I'm just going to flatten this out back to like here, so that I can get the hole where I want it, and then I'll add another one back to it later. So when that's actually metal, not timber and superwood.
Oh, it's going metal? Oh.
No. I'm just telling them that so that they don't think I'm going to hold it together with glue and timber.
Are you sort of at the limits of what you can achieve with this wooden block now?
Yeah, I sort of need my timber block to no longer be timber. Like what that.
See, that's the best way to do it.
See, Daddy?
He didn't want the weight to swing off his fucking...
He's super glue. He's super glue.
3 days later.
Guys, the viewers haven't even seen
No,
this
they haven't.
yet. They haven't seen any of it.
Well, we can start at the start. Well, they saw the timber, didn't they?
Yeah, we saw the timber.
All right. This was the mock-up timber version of
The prototype.
the prototype from R32 knuckle to McPherson strut. Yeah, this is the adapter to the McPherson strut, right? So pretty much made this to see if everything was going to work. And when it was all bolted together with my timber bit, it worked. Obviously, I had a riv nut glued in the bottom and it was a little bit all open to interpretation. So it's like it works, but we don't actually know it works until we make it properly. So what we did was we took this to AIM Laser in Toowoomba and they copied my very nice prototype. They drew it out in CAD for us and then they cut it out of, this is 32mm Biz 80 mild steel plate. So it's like the bee's knees of mild steel plate essentially. Apparently they make bulldozers and shit out of it. So very strong. And then from there we've taken this piece up to Graham, the machinist behind us up here, and he has gone ahead, drilled our holes for us, and then he's also done the important part and not glued a riv nut into the bottom. So there's a few different ways we were going to do it. We were going to just spigot it and weld it, or we were going to spigot it and put a pin through the top or something along those lines. We weren't too sure what we were going to do, but Graham ended up coming with the idea to actually thread it. So this is the factory spindle piece. So this used to be just a shank and then it stepped down and it had a thread up here, and this used to sandwich onto the J-arm and bolt down. So Graham's turned all that down, trimmed it, put a thread on it, and that piece matches up to our coil-over adapter plate, threads in. So this all threads together now. So now we have 30mm of M20 by, I don't know what thread it is, M20 by 1.75 or something like that, or 2mm maybe. So we've got a lot of surface area engagement on that thread, which makes it super strong. So that negates any need for us trying to plug weld it at the top like we were trying to think, or like dowel it. So we're not going to bother doing that. I am still going to weld along the bottom here to join the two pieces together, even though it's threaded. And it's completely unnecessary for strength purposes. Basically, by welding the bottom of this, it means I get to engage the full thickness of our 30mm plate rather than just relying on the 20mm stud up through the middle of it. So I'm still going to weld that so that it's sort of extra strong, basically. We'll make sure we preheat that, and then basically we'll preheat it, we'll wrap it, and we'll let it cool down very slowly so that we don't make this brittle. But all of that basically means that it works. This is the side that I had my timber bit in, and by movie magic, now it's not timber and now it's metal. So everything was like so close to being perfect the first time around. It was like I don't even know how to explain it. It was the closest it could be to working without working. That's how close it was. So all I had to do was shave the tiniest little bit off the bottom of our coilover mount here, like literally 1/2 mm on each side, just shave it off so that the knuckle could go slightly higher for the bolt holes to line up, because obviously this version, which I based all of the holes off of, it was a little bit open to interpretation because it was a riv nut glued into timber. But with that, it works. The offset camber pins will still work as well, or the offset camber spacers or washers, whatever you call them. So basically you can put different offsets of those in and they will still work. they're most likely just going to have these, because where I've got it at the moment with where I've drilled the holes is sitting us at about 2 degrees positive camber. So it means our wheels are basically like that. Obviously that's accentuated, but as the car comes down, our wheels will lift up and square up. So 2 degrees, pretty good. I was actually shooting for 0, if I'm being completely honest, but basically this means that as we come down, our wheels should end up at 0 anyway. So it's probably worked out in my favor that I was 2 degrees off, and then we still have our camber top adjustment up the top if we need to get some more camber into it or out of it, depending on where it sits when it gets on the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the other side off. I'm going to do the modification that I've done to this coilover mount, the bottom piece. Do all that, get the other side fitting right. Once I've got both of them fitting, I'll pull them out, and then I will like sort of final assemble this, I guess. Clean up all the laser cutting marks, and then I'll likely weld these together. I might only tack them for now, just because I'm not fully committed to it yet. So, but yeah, it's all working. So that's super exciting. Everything so far is, everything that we thought was going to work is working so far. So hopefully by the end of the day, we should have it on the ground, sitting on its own weight, and we'll sort of be able to roll it back and forward. It doesn't have a steering rack in it at the moment, so we won't be able to like steer it around. But yeah, so Jamie spoke to the engineer, told him about what the plans were, what we had planned for the chassis, and he said, sick, no worries, no questions, everything you've said you're going to do is perfect. So the only thing he wants is where we do the floor modification for the transfer case. He wants it to, like the patch panels, for lack of a better word, wants that to overlap a certain distance, so it's not just a butt joint, it needs to overlap, which is fine, that's easy. And then the crush tubes in the chassis, which we're already going to do, and if we have to notch the chassis, which at this point I don't think we're going to, but I think we might have to notch it a tiny bit. But if we have to notch the chassis, there was something that we had to do for that, but it was all what we'd already intended on doing. So he was happy. Everything that we've done so far he's happy with. Everything that we intend on doing he's happy with, and basically means we can keep going forward with the project. We should have a very cool gearbox showing up here next weekend. Hopefully, I think the boys are bringing up his gearbox, so we'll have a lovely all-wheel drive Turbo 400 gearbox that we can slam in behind this thing, which will give us our dimensions. We need to start cutting the floor, and then cut a hole in the floor, put a gearbox in, patch the hole in the floor, do skids, in that order. There's a few more things, but
Making progress.
making progress. We're going to get the other side done.
We probably need an engine before we can do skids.
Oh, we got an engine. We need one that works, but yeah. Yeah. Anyway, moral of the story is we'll get this other one done and get it in the car so we can sit it down on its wheels and we can sit it on 4 drag tyres and have them all roll and look cool.
Wicked.
Even though we've already done that, but it wasn't actually all-wheel drive. That was just fake.
Real. For real.
For realsies, all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
With shafts and everything. I think that's it.
Sick.
Yeah, shout out to Graham, our machinist, up the back, for getting that done. And AIM Laser. It's harder than you might think to be able to find someone who can laser cut 30mm plate. And that's actually 32. So without like paying someone thousands and thousands of dollars to design this in CAD and then CNC machine it in one big piece, obviously that would have been a very expensive exercise to find out that it might not work. Obviously it is working so far, but we weren't entirely sure. So we were pretty lucky to have someone local to us who could cut that out for us. And then obviously we're extremely lucky to have Graham, the machinist up the back, who hasn't let us down yet. Thought yesterday might be the day, but he came through.
Good job, Graham.
He thought, I had full faith.
Sits out a bit, Sam.
She do.
A brake's sort of in the way there, isn't it?
But I can't really put them on because they won't clear these wheels.
Yeah.
But I don't want to take them off because then they're going to be in the way. I've got it in, got no steering rack on it, so that's why it's doing that, but I've got the bolts sort of in. Maybe like...
Let us know in the comments where you want us to put the brakes. What do I reckon?
Lower it down.
Sure.
See if it explodes.
I don't think it'll explode.
Nothing exciting can happen at all, but...
Oh, careful. Yeah. Careful now, Samuel.
We need to make sure that's... I might have to get you going.
What do you need help?
I need the wheels to stay straight. What do we reckon ride like wise? Is it going to be terrible or is it going to be like that? I've got much more voice to come in. Oh, it's a monster truck. Yeah, that's that is an issue. That is a big tyre in that little guard. But like if you look down there, but that's with a 15mm spacer at the moment. So we could most likely.
And we need that spacer to
not
clear
not that big. No, we could probably go back to like probably nearly a 5mm, maybe a 10.
And we'd still clear everything.
And you'd still clear everything, but I think these rims need a 5mm spacer to clear the brakes on a GT-R. So it might need a 5mm spacer.
What about the other wheels?
The other wheels are way further out, but they're also, the tyres are way bigger. So
but like,
looks like it's got Honda Civic stance.
In terms of a spacer though, what?
In terms of, they're pretty much the same, eh? Like
they're same.
Clearance wise, yeah. Except these won't clear the brakes as it currently.
That's what, yeah.
So even with that spacer, they won't clear the brakes.
Gotcha.
But they're the Belix, which is the ones, they're the rims he had on his back.
They're the ones he wants to run?
They're the ones he wants to run, and they're the ones that were already on the back. But we may have to go to like a 2. So these are a 255. I think these are also a 255, but they're like a PSR versus.
Yeah.
So they're both
Mickey
255s,
Thompson.
but it's a PSR versus a Mickey Thompson, and they're not both 255s. Like they're not the same size.
They're not built the same.
You can tell that one is.
Yeah.
We may end up having to go to a 235 all round, just purely because like that's not going to work. It'll work if you only went straight. As soon as you turn, you're going to be taking out your lovely stock body S13 guards.
Yeah.
So probably have to go down to the 235.
I mean, we are roll racing, but we still need to turn.
It's still a street car at the end of the day.
It does need to turn.
It will still be a street car at the end of the day. But, I mean, that's fine. That wheel looks nearly perfect too, like square-wise. Obviously that hasn't settled, but that's like pretty up and down.
Yeah.
That you can tell on this big one because it's sitting out the guards so fucking much.
That's funny.
Gorilla. That's the Komodo Dragon right there.
That's it.
Fuck, that looks hilarious, doesn't it?
Here, come back further and just look at both.
Now you can see these are both 255.
They're the same tyre.
Yeah. That looks sick. The whole point of this exercise was so that we can measure offsets. So I had to make the coil-over adapters so that we could run 15s because they wanted to run either the Belix or the Buddy Clubs in a different offset that would suit the front. So that's the whole reason that we had to push the coil-over brackets sort of back and shape them to get the clearance around the rim. And now I've got clearance on the Buddy Clubs, I've got clearance on the Belix. So all it is from there is tyre size and offset, and we should be pretty good because from there we could go in. Like I've got 15mm clearance on the inside of the rim, so we could offset it to get the tyre under the guard, but then go to get the tyre under, then go a smaller tyre so that we gain the clearance back that we lost by going a different offset. Go down to a 235, which will help us in the front, but then we'd have to figure out the back fitment because obviously you don't want that looking stupid.
I feel like this would be a great time to do a little FaceTime with Jamie and just be like, look, Jamie. Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if I've got his number. Say, Jamie!
Hi, mate!
What are you doing?
It's on the way home from work.
Oh.
Hey, on the floor.
It's on the floor.
Hey, work good?
Yeah.
Looks good.
We got Buddy Club on that side, but then your belly on this side is a little bit less. She's a bit of a fucking monster truck.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it fits though, like it's got clearance, but.
Yeah, that's it. Work out the best offset that's gonna sit. I don't want to stick it out on this too much.
Nah.
I want it to sit nice. That sits, like you said, if that goes in a 15mm and a bit more.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Well, if you went in like 5mm and went down to a 235, you'd probably be like pretty nice. Yeah.
I'd like a 255 if we can get it to it, but if not, can we go like 235 on the front, 255 on the rear?
Nah, you got to keep the rolling diameter the same for the all-wheel drive. Yeah. But anyway, that's the update.
But it looks good.
Yeah, it's working. Everything's in there. Sick. All right. Catch you, buzz. See ya.
See you, baby. Bye.
Jamie.
It's rolling officially.
It's rolling. It rolls.
All-wheel drive rolling for the first time.
Rolling S13.
This here.
parachutes?
Means fast.
There should be a courier called X.
X gonna deliver it to you. Fuck, waiting for you to get it on your own. X gonna deliver it to you. Knock, knock.
See? It works, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it works.
In there, somewhere.
Oh yeah. I reckon we just drop it in there enough time.
Are we gonna have nitrous?
Yes. That also creates another problem because that's where the nitrous bottle used to be. So
Just thinking about that.
Everything's moving now.
How you gonna fuck work it out, you reckon?
I'm just going to do it.
It's upper.
I'm going to get into my flow state. I'm going to meditate for a bit.